Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Pat Flynn Show. We are going to talk about a super simple kettlebell training program here today. We are live streaming, so if you're here tuning in real time, thank you for being here. We will take some Q&A, probably at the end, but maybe even as we go along. Hey, quick heads up. This is actually something of a repeat episode. I tried to do a stream on this program when I was down in North Carolina, but a whole bunch of things went technically awry, and I thought the content was worth sharing again. So this is something of a redo, but I have some new. If you were on the last stream, we'll have new ideas and new material in this one as well. And this is going to be a straightforward and to the point episode because I have just concocted a new little creation for you down here in my laboratory. This fitness mad scientist has come up with a super simple 3-day-a-week generalist kettlebell training program. It focuses on all the basics. You can see the sketch of it right here on the screen. If you're just listening on the podcast after the stream, don't worry. I will explain everything in the program, and I will include a write-up and the image over at the show notes after the stream is finished as well. So cheers to everybody who's tuning in. The Saturday morning stream. We're going to try and make it more interesting even than Saturday morning cartoons. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you're drinking. I've got coffee here with just a small dab of coconut oil. That's Pat Flynn's preferred beverage of choice in the morning. And I'm going to take a sip. So cheers. Let me know where you're at, too. It's always cool to hear where people are tuning in from. And then, of course, if you have anything you want to chat about as we move along, I'm happy to hear it. Just sound off in the comment section. All right, before we begin, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, guys. If you need kettlebells, check out Inverted Gear. All right, they're supporting the show. Let's show them some love. They've got awesome kettlebells in stock, and best of all, you get 15% off anything in their inventory, including kettlebells, if you use the link below. It's invertedgear.com/discount/PatFlynn15. It's invertedgear.com/discount/PatFlynn15. Their kettlebells rock. They're really great kettlebells. They're in stock. They have a cute panda logo. So if you need kettlebells, that's the place to go. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about a super simple kettlebell program. By super simple, I mean we're talking minimalism, effectiveness, and efficiency. We're talking the fundamental core movements. We're talking this could be done with one kettlebell, but I'll talk about how you could also do it with two kettlebells. So we're gonna have an option here. You can go single kettlebell, you can go double kettlebell, you could even do a mix. So what I'm gonna do in this episode, I'm gonna set guidelines and boundaries. I'm gonna give you the general structure of the program, but within those guidelines and boundaries, there's gonna be room to play. There's gonna be room for you to experiment, to kind of manipulate and tweak certain things. But if you stay within those boundaries, you're gonna have a really solid program. You're gonna have a really solid, bare bones, effective generalist program that's gonna promote strength, conditioning, mobility, lean muscle, all of it. Going to burn a bunch of calories too. So good to have you guys here. Anthony is checking in from Poland. Cheers to you, my friend. Good to have you here. Raj is here checking in from India. He's got coffee. Cheers to you. Trench from Germany. Wow, all over the world. Really cool to have you guys here. Thanks for tuning in. Mike says, looking forward to the stream. Yeah, me too, man. Hope I don't disappoint. Want to give you guys some good content. And oh, I'm still waking up here, so just give me a couple minutes, or not. Let's just dive right in. So I'm gonna blow up this image on my screen. I'm gonna talk you through this. So a little background. I sketched this up originally on Instagram. You know, I do fairly frequent Q&A sessions over on Instagram, and somebody asked for just a simple 3-day-a-week training program. You know, basics. And so I kind of like quickly sketched something on Instagram to say, hey, try this, you know, not a whole lot of detail. And people really liked it. They responded to it and they said, hey, Pat, could you talk more about this? This is really interesting. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And I filled out some details. I shared it with my email list, and now here we are. So this has kind of been something that's been a little bit in development. It started off as just like a quick sketch. People seem to really resonate with this idea, the exercise selection, the general structure. And now I want to give you some more details of what this program is all about. Alex, my dude, good morning to you. Good to see some friendly faces, some familiar faces. Hello from Singapore. Well, hello from Wisconsin. Gunter checking in from Belgium. Yeah, wow, awesome. Really really awesome mix of of geography here. Michael from Denmark, and finally Illinois, right below me. Wisconsin is Illinois' hat, so good to have you here, Vasily. Good to have you here. Okay, keep chiming in, guys. We'll come back. I'll come back to the chat here, and we'll take questions as we move along. But let's get into the program a little bit. So let me blow this up. Here's the structure. Let me outline the general structure. Then I'll talk about the details and the nuances and how you actually can go about this. So it's going to be 3 days a week, and I'm going to generally recommend that you do these training days on non-consecutive days. So like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can do it Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. If you do train on consecutive days, it's not the end of the world. Just try not to do all three on consecutive days. So like a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, that would be fine. I mean, there's enough flexibility here, but it's going to be 3 training days. Each training day is going to have 2 exercises, 2 primary fundamental exercises that it's going to be the meat of that training session. Now, the key about this kettlebell program, the whole mentality I want you to have is that this is about a form of practice. This is something that I want you to follow for around 6 to 8 weeks. So that's going to be the general time frame, around 6 to 8 weeks. And you're going to think about using this as an opportunity to practice and master these fundamental exercises. And in doing so, yes, you'll sweat. Yes, you'll get your heart rate up. Yes, you'll feel like you have a good workout. But the mindset, the mentality is practicing the movements. And I'll talk about how you're going to do that as we move along. But let's get the exercises on the table first. So day 1, we're going to do swings and presses. I really love the movement pairings of specifically hinging and pushing, lower body hinging and upper body pushing. I think that's a really great movement pairing for a training day. So that's day 1, swings and presses. Day 2 are squats and pull-ups. So that's another one of my favorite movement pairings where we have the lower body push with the upper body pull. So that's kind of what we're doing here, right? We're pairing a lower body pull with an upper body push and vice versa. So the hinge, we kind of classify that as more of a lower body pull, and the press obviously is an upper body push. On day 2, we reverse that. We have the lower body push, the squat, and the upper body pull. Now I have pull-ups here, but you can swap in rows. And for a lot of people, that will probably be what you do. So you can some flexibility here. You can perform pull-ups, chin-ups, single arm rows, double bent over rows with kettlebells. So whether you do the vertical pulling or the horizontal pulling is fine. So one more time, day 1 are swings and presses. Day 2 are squats and pull-ups. Day 3 is get-ups and carries, get-ups and loaded carries. And I'll talk about some options you can use for the loaded carries there as well. So that's the general structure. 3 days of training, 2 exercises each day. The first day is your swing and press day. Your second day is your squat and pull day. Your third day is your get-up and loaded carry day. So let's talk about some of the details now. How's that sound to you guys? And I see we already have some questions coming in. I will tend to your questions momentarily, but pop them in as they enter your cerebrum, because I'll try and take them in the order in which they're received. So you can start putting your questions in whenever you have them. But let me just get this whole thing on the table first before we do Q&A. Okay. So here's how I want you to do this. I want you for every training day to just practice each movement for around 10 to 15 minutes. You could go up to 20 minutes if you want. So let's say 10 to 20 minutes. I have in the instructions here 10 to 15, but 20 minutes is fine. And how can you practice? I'm going to give you 3 ways. 3 ways. This is building on the previous conversation that I think will make for effective movement practice for strength and conditioning. One strategy you can use are accumulation sets. What is an accumulation set? An accumulation set is where you have a block of time and you pick a certain intensity and a certain rep range, and you just accumulate as many quality sets as you can in that time. So I have 20 minutes on the clock. I want to practice my military press. I want to go pretty heavy with it. So I'm going to maybe, I'm going to use like my 5 rep max. I'm going to use my 5 rep max. Well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to accumulate as many high quality sets of just 2 to 3 reps as possible in 20 minutes, right? So I recommend for whatever intensity you pick, let me put it this way, right? Whatever rep range you pick, operate somewhere within your 2 rep max of technical failure. This is a common theme that we talk about, right? So if I want to do 2 or 3 presses at a time, then I should be using a weight that I could press for no more than 5 reps until my technique really starts to deteriorate in some way, if that makes sense. Or if I want to maybe focus a little bit more on the higher rep ranges and I want to press maybe 8 reps at a time, then I should be using a weight that I could press for, no more than 10 reps until my technique starts to deteriorate. Yes, that's too big of a word to use this early in the morning, until my technique starts to fail. That's better. So that's one way to practice. We can do accumulation sets, and that's the simplest way. Hey, I'm going to pick a rep range, and I'm going to recommend that you vary this, right? So sometimes go heavy, other times go light, sometimes go low rep, other times go higher rep. Whatever you pick, you're just going to accumulate as many high quality sets as you can in the time allotted, and that's 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so that's one strategy you can use for practice. Remember, all this is about practice. So accumulation sets are great. You do a set, you rest. As soon as you feel like you can do the next set with good confidence and technique, you do it again, you rest. You could do this whole thing, this entire program, just with accumulation sets if you want. But let me give you a couple other ways to go about this. Another way are ladders, traditional ladder training, right? So I do one press right, I do one press left. I do two presses right, I do two presses left. And I just go up the ladder and back down and see, where I get within, the 10 to 20 minute range. That works well with swings too. One way you can do ladders with swings, a way I like doing ladders with swings, is you start at 2 reps, shake it out, rest a little bit, then do 4 reps, shake it out, rest a little bit, then 6, 8, 10, 12, and go as high as you can until you feel like your swings really lose that punchy aspect. Like once you really start to lose that explosiveness, then you just reset. So maybe you get to, 16 swings and you're like, okay, I'm really starting to slow down. Fine. Then rest, start back at 2 and start building the ladder again. And just see, how many times you can build that ladder in 10 to 20 minutes. So the first strategy for practice would be accumulation sets. Another strategy for practice would be ladders. And then the last one I'm going to give you would be EMOM sets, every minute on the minute. And this is where you're just going to pick a rep range. We've talked about this a million times, but I think it will work really well for this program as well. So let's take swings, for example. Well, I'm going to do 10 swings on the minute, every minute for 10 minutes. That's a lot of volume. You're going to get a lot of work done. That's awesome. Or if we're doing presses, okay, I'm going to do 3 presses or 5 presses on the minute, every minute for 10 minutes. And I'll just do one arm at a time for presses, something like that. So how you do it can vary, and it will vary depending on the weight you're using, whether you want to go really heavy and train kind of the lower rep strength, or you want to go a little bit lighter, maybe focus on some hypertrophy efforts. So in terms of like general rules here of intensity, I'm not really setting any hard or fast rules. I think some sessions you should go heavy. I think some sessions you should go for the really big weights and keep the reps low. I think for other sessions you should go light and just try and collect a lot of volume. And I think for other sessions you should go in between. So mix it up, vary it, but it's always about practice. So when we talk about practice, we mean about getting as many quality sets as you can in the time allotted to you and really focusing on the nuances of proper technique. And as long as you go heavy some of the time, you don't have to go heavy every single session, because you're always going to be practicing, and there's value in terms of strength and muscle building in exploring the variety, the wide variety of rep ranges. But go heavy some of the time. Maybe one of your sessions each week should be a pretty heavy one, but they don't all have to be heavy. So feel free to vary the weight and the intensity, and we're just focusing on practicing each of these movements. So those are the 3 strategies that I think you can use to fill in some of the details here of what we mean by practice. You can use accumulation sets, you can use ladders, you can use every minute on the minute. I think those are going to serve you well. And again, you can use any one of those. You could use a mix of those. It's totally up to you. If you have questions on that, we can jam on it at the end. So let's just kind of let's keep talking through, and I'll give some more details, right? So that'd be day 1. So day 1, maybe I decide I'm going to do swings every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Great. And then for presses, I'm just going to do pressing ladders up to 5 and back down. That would be a great example of what day 1 could look like, and that would probably take less than half an hour. You're in, you're out, you're on your way, you're on with your day. Awesome. Day 2, squats. All right, maybe I'm going to do accumulation sets here. So I'm going to do sets of 5 on the squat. I'm going to go, kind of heavy with it. Maybe we're talking double kettlebell front squats here. Maybe like 232s or something like that, relatively heavy. And I'm just going to focus on really high quality sets, right? Set of 5 or set of 8, whatever I pick. I'm going to do a set. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to shake it out. I'm going to rest. I'm going to do a set. I'm going to put it down. And then maybe I'll do that for 20 minutes. Just however many good quality sets of squats I get is what I get. There we go. Because we're not worried about hitting a particular number. We're just focused on getting practice in. We're just practicing. And then for pull-ups, great. I can do ladders again, maybe up to 5, back down, whatever I get in 15 minutes. I could do chin-ups, or we could do bent over rows. So if you don't have a pull-up bar, or you just prefer doing rows, that's totally fine. You can do single arm rows. You could do double arm rows. You could do ladders there. You could do accumulation sets, of course, as well. So maybe that's what maybe day 2 looks like that. Maybe we do an accumulation set on the squats, and then we do some type of ladder with the rows or the pull-ups again. Okay, and then day 3 is where we have the get-ups and the carries. So this is the day 3. This is the day that's going to make Dan John really happy, right? We know how much Dan John loves his loaded carries. Get-ups, I think one of the best ways, you can't go wrong with just accumulation sets with get-ups, right? So we'll just do 1 right, 1 left, and then just go for 10 to 20 minutes and see how many good quality get-ups we get. But there's other ways we can cook the get-up. We can make it a little bit sexier, I guess. We could do, I call them like endurance sets with the get-up. And that's where we stay on one side with the get-up, and we do as many get-ups as we can consecutively on one side. And so I feel like I only have like 1 rep left in the tank. I think when you're doing get-ups, you should always keep at least 1 rep left in the tank. So maybe I grab a 24. I start working get-ups on my right side consecutively. So I just keep getting up and down on my right side. Maybe I get to like 4 or 5 and I'm like, okay, I'm at about my limit there. Then I'm going to make sure I finish safely. I'll switch sides. I'll repeat, and we'll see how many I can get consecutively on the left side. That's an interesting way. I think that, and a very beneficial way to train the get up. It'll give you some deeper muscle fatigue as well, and a surprisingly hard conditioning hit also. So yeah, maybe you just do that for 10 to 20 minutes. You just get that high quality get up practice in. And then for carries, I want you to have fun here. I want you to mix it up. You can do farmer's carries, suitcase carry, overhead carry, rack holds, rack carries. If you have a prowler, push the prowler. If you wanted to do crawling, whatever it is, you just move a distance, right? So you pick some weight up, you move it a distance, you shake it out. And you could even move it, a distance with one carry variation. You could move it back with another carry variation. So you could even mix the carries within the session itself, not just week by week or something like that. So that would be day 3. You're going to practice your get-ups and you're going to practice your carries, again, 10 to 20 minutes each. And the idea, what I want you to be able to do is any one of these sessions really should at start to finish should not take more than an hour. Most of them, the main, I think, thrust of the workout will probably take around 30 minutes or less. But hey, you get to the gym. If you're training at the gym, and you do a warm up. What should you do for your warm up? Let's talk about that quickly. For your warm up, what I would say is go listen to the conversation I had with Alex a couple weeks ago, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where we talked about minimalist warm-ups. So, do something general for a warm-up, maybe jump rope, do some jumping rope, do some hanging, do some goblet squats, get the hips loosened, get the shoulders activated. And then what I want you to do is just a few light sets of whatever is on the menu that day. So if it's a swing and press day, do some light hinging, do some light pressing. Just make sure that the groove and the pattern is warmed up. Just 2 to 3 light sets to specifically prepare whatever the exercise is for that day, and then get at it. Right? You keep the minimalist, keep the warm up minimalist. Pat Flynn and sentences are not going well together today. Just does anybody else have that? Do you ever have a day where you just wake up like a complete idiot? And suddenly you find yourself incapable of forming any coherent thoughts whatsoever. That's me today. I don't know what it is. I think it has something to do with humidity conditions and the way my brain works. Okay, so that's the general structure of the program. So let me give the executive summary again. Then we'll take your questions. So now would be the time to start submitting questions. And I'll provide as much more detail as I can. So it's a 3-day training program. Day 1, swings and presses. Day 2, squats and pull-ups. Day 3, get-ups and carries. I don't want you to focus on getting a workout. I want you to focus on practicing. You will feel like you had a great workout if you focus on practicing. I want you to go heavy at least some of the time, but you don't have to go heavy all the time. The key is not to overthink it. Just lift. Just practice the exercises for 10 to 20 minutes each. You can use accumulation sets. You can use ladders. You can use EMOM sets, whatever suits your fancy. Any of those would work. Do a minimalist warm-up. Do something general to warm your body up, and then do something specific to prepare for whatever is on the menu that day. And then if you want to finish in minimalist fashion, you want to do a little something for your abs, here it is, my friends, the ab wheel, everybody's favorite $10 piece of exercise equipment. You could do 2 sets of ab wheel at the end of every workout to technical failure. So that's the bonus. If you want the bonus program, 2 sets of ab wheel at the end of every workout to technical failure. And there you have it, my friends, the super simple kettlebell program. So if you like that, if that's helpful to you, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, rank the podcast. I hope that this is something you can take and use and get awesome results with. So let's see what's happening in the comment section. Here, let me minimize that so I can see you guys a little bit better. All right, my little rabbits, what do you have for me? Let me scroll here. Okay. Anthony says, day 4 snatches. No, I wouldn't add snatches on this. I would keep this as it is. Now, I hate to start like giving too much latitude, because if I do that, then people will start changing the program until it becomes utterly unrecognizable. But let me say this with that qualification. If you really want to practice snatches, you could swap in snatches on day 1 for swings. So instead of doing a swing ladder on day 1, you could do a snatch ladder. So when you see swings there, if you're, a little bit more advanced with kettlebells, or you specifically want to get better at snatches, you could just swap in a different hinge movement if you want. So cleans or snatches. So rather than adding an extra day, Anthony, I would just do snatches on day 1 instead of swings. That's where I would put that in there. Raj says, can I integrate weighted pull-ups in this program? Yeah, absolutely. You could do that. Would be on day 2. So if you wanted to go heavier in the pull-ups, just low rep pull-up ladders would be awesome. Pull-ups or chin-ups. So that would go right into day 2. And I would encourage that, right? If you're already pretty good at pull-ups and we want to go heavy some of the time, then definitely incorporate weighted pull-ups on day 2. Francis checking in from California. Good to see you as always, Francis. Thanks for being here. Jamie says it's early at the West Coast. Yes, it's early here, kind of. What do we got here? It's like 8 a.m. here where I'm at. I kind of slept in today, which is unusual for me. I'm a pretty early riser. I get up consistently around like 5:30 a.m., but not today. Chris Platt, who sounds a lot like Chris Pratt, it's a little suspicious, checking in from Shropshire. Am I pronouncing that right? I have no idea where that is, but I'm glad that you're here on the stream. All right. Michael says, I'm currently on your 10-5-3 program. I find my workouts suck if I've had a 24-hour shift the day before. Dude, I bet they do, man. That's got to be super draining. Would you recommend delaying the workout, doing what I can, or even skipping that day? Appreciate it. Yeah, I think if you're that drained, if you have a 24-hour shift, give yourself a little bit of work, especially a little bit of rest. Sorry. If you feel super drained, very stressed from a 24-hour shift, which isn't surprising, give yourself an extra day of cushion there. I would recommend that, Michael. Good questions so far, guys. Manu says hello from New Delhi, India. Cheers. I have a good number of people tuning in from India today. Very cool. Never been. Would like to go at some point. Zorba checking in from Spain. Hello. Never been to Spain. Would like to go at some point. Robin says, thanks. You're very welcome, Robin. I hope you guys enjoy this program. All right, Brandon says, Pat, love the effectiveness of this straightforward program. Any recommendation for heart rate zones when doing this? Thanks again. Example zone 2. No, not really. I don't think that you're gonna get too cranked from doing this. The ladders, because it's going to vary depending on the exercise, right? So if you're doing like swing ladders, you're gonna get more crank than if you're doing the low rep accumulation set with presses. So I just can't, because it's so different because of the exercises and what the density will be and the exercises themselves. I would be hesitant to give a sort of global recommendation for heart rate zones. Let me just say this though. I think if you focus on just keeping your movement quality as high as possible, and then you focus, what should your rest be? So let's talk about that. Like, what should your rest between sets be? I'm going to give a general and maybe unhelpful recommendation, but that's the best I can do right now. I think your rest between sets should be as little as you need, but as much as you need to do the next set with good technique. So let me say that again. I think your rest between sets should be as little as you need, but as much as you need to do the next set with good technique. So that could be a short amount of time. That could be a long amount of time. It'll depend on how you're practicing the exercise, the intensity you're using, and what the exercise it is. And sometimes you might find that really does crank your heart rate. I think that'd be more common with the swings and the squats. And other times you might feel like you might not even be breaking a sweat. So I would just keep those principles in mind. I think you're gonna do well with this. AMIT says, I joined just 10 minutes ago, but this is helpful. Well, good to have you here. Better late than never. And of course, don't worry, because the replay will be up on my YouTube channel, Facebook, and then I'll have the audio on the podcast as well, so you can catch up on the full thing. By the way, guys, if you want this image, this like one-page image of the actual write-up, I will put that up over at chroniclesofstrength.com. You can download that. You can print it out. You can hang it on your fridge. So that will be made available for you as well, if it's too much for you to memorize. Francis says, can the days be done as a mix of exercises? For example, if EMOM first minute of swings and second minute of presses. Yeah, you could do that. I'm trying to think of where that could go wrong or interfere. I'm not going to throw a fit, Francis, if like you did swing other thing for day one. I think that would actually work really well for that. So say for day one, and again, guys, don't let me confuse this, right? Because this is always the snare, right? Like we have something really simple, really, really sleek, really straightforward. And then we start, well, could we do this? Could we do that? And then it becomes this convoluted, complex thing. So most of you just ignore what I'm about to say. But Francis, I know you've been following other programs, so I'll just speak maybe directly to you. I wouldn't throw a fit if on day one you did swing other thing for like 30 minutes with swings and presses. So minute one, swing 10 reps. Minute two, swing 10 reps. Minute three, say like double press for like 3 to 5 reps or something like that. And you just went 30 minutes with that. I think that would satisfy day one pretty well. So yeah, could you alternate between the exercises? I don't think that's going to be an issue most of the time. But for most people starting out, I think maybe just keep them separate and focus on the exercises themselves. But for you, Francis, we can make a special exception. Marco says, I like it very much. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I sketched this up on like an Instagram story, and people were like, Pat, this seems really cool. Can you talk a little bit more about it? I wish I had a better name for it. Maybe you guys have an idea for a cool name for this kettlebell program. I just called it the Super Simple Kettlebell Program. But if you come up with a better name, drop one in the comments. And if I like it enough, I will adopt it, give you 0 credit, but maybe I'll ship you a book or a sticker or something. One of those scratch and sniff stickers. Raj says it might be the sniffles. Yeah, I've got crazy allergies right now. I've also been going ham on the grass. Grass does not wait for Dad. Dad is out there attacking the lawn viciously every day. We have to keep the enemy at bay, my friends. We cannot let them get ahead of us. No advancement. Don says, Brood X says hello from PA. Don, good to see you, my friend. Cheers. All right, we'll jam for a little bit more, and then I have to get on to watching my Saturday morning cartoons. This is fun, though, guys. Appreciate the conversation, as always, and I hope that you find this helpful. If so, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, Marco says, I'm currently doing easy strength with one 20-kilogram kettlebell. I feel great, and I'm doing great. Keep going with this, and especially podcasts with Dan. Greetings from Croatia. Yeah, thank you, Marco. I'm glad to hear that you are feeling great and doing great on easy strength, which is no surprise to me because that is a great program. So keep up with it. And then you can just take this and you can put it in your back pocket. And whenever you finish easy strength, if you want to try something that is minimalist in another way, there you go. Hope it serves you. All right. MD says, hello from Houston. Yesterday, I finished week 3 of your recent simple Get Strong Kettlebell program. We'll have an after action report after week 6. I really appreciate that. When I put this stuff out there, I would love to hear how it goes for you guys that follow this. And the Get Strong one was that was a 10-5-3-1. I think we did a couple weeks ago. So good to hear you're already on week 3. And this one here, I'll just say it again. Sorry, my camera's backwards. I'm trying to point to it. The super simple kettlebell program. I would say minimum 6 weeks for this, but up to 8 weeks. That's the kind of duration for this. So if anybody does it, check in with me. At 6 weeks. Let me know how it does for you. All right, Frank, Frank won the name competition. Simple and Flinister. That's good. That's very good. Now I'm actually upset that I didn't have that in the title. Frank, you win you win a prize. you get something. Send me an email, Frank, and we'll hook you up with some stickers. Who doesn't like stickers? Michael says, could this be both a bus bench and park bench depending on the specific setup? Looks really good for GPP. Yeah, it's definitely a general physical preparedness program. And yeah, I think the answer there is yes, depending on how you decide you want to practice the exercises. There's room here for auto regulation. It's sort of choose your own intensity or choose your own adventure. You could make this really demanding and really hard, right? And you can see probably how you could do that, right? If you push the density, if you go heavier more often than not, this could be a more aggressive program, or it could be a more relaxed practice type of routine. I think even if you really push it, it's still going to be it's still minimalist enough that because it's only 3 days a week and the sessions are constrained, that I think even if you push hard within these boundaries, you'll still recover very well. But you certainly don't have to do that. So to answer your question, I think yes. I think depending on the setup, it could be either. But regardless, you are going to develop GPP from this. You're spot on there. Michael says the grass cutter special. I put up a picture of my New Balance, my classic white dad New Balance shoes on Facebook yesterday with just beautiful grass stains all up and down. Somebody even noticed that I got the grass stains on the socks too. It's art, my friends. Masterpieces like that take time. The secret is not to rush anything. Alex says that's perfect. Yeah, Simple and Flinister. You know what? But that name is so good. I'm going to have to save that for another program. And Frank, we will give you credit on that one. That's too good for me just to steal without giving credit. All right, let's close out here. Let's do one more. Don says lawn mowing, weighted vest, and a real mower. Go. So when the weather is nice, grass, the enemy, as I call it, the enemy. That usually does become my brisk walking activity, my rucking. Have I done it with a weighted vest? No, but I have done it to my wife's great embarrassment in a heavy bathrobe. I don't do that anymore because we want to stay on decent terms with the neighbors. But that was intense because I worked that thing was heavy. I worked up a really powerful sweat. Plus right now I have a terrible electric mower. So that thing actually takes a fair amount of push. It doesn't cut very well. So it doesn't make the job easy. The enemy is highly resistant to my arsenal. I have a decent sized yard too. So it always takes me a while to get through that. So, so yeah, all right, I'm not going to bore you guys about talking about cutting grass anymore. But it's good exercise. Get outside, trim some grass, lift some kettlebells, have some fun. All right, a few announcements before we go, my friends. This has been a blast. Thanks for joining me. Again, one more time, check out our sponsor, Inverted Gear. 15% off. Whatever you want there. They have these cute little sandals too. Go get yourself a pair of cute little jiu-jitsu sandals. But get the kettlebells for sure. invertedgear.com/discount/PatFlynn15. Guys, checking out the sponsors helps the show. So it's just if you need kettlebells, it'd be super appreciated if you went to Inverted Gear. And they're good kettlebells. They are really good kettlebells, and they have a cute little panda logo. So check them out. Like, comment, subscribe, share with both of your friends, and enjoy the program, guys. Take it, use it. I hope you get awesome results. Check in a couple weeks in a live stream. Let me know how it is doing for you. And yeah, we'll have some cool episodes next week. Until then, you guys rock. Always a joy having these morning conversations. And we'll catch all of you on the next episode. Bye-bye.